Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Meet the Core team. We'll give people another minute here to all get logged in and press start. Can everyone hear me okay and see the slides okay? Excellent. So welcome to the Bioconductor Meet the Core team presentation. We thought it would be a good idea to present to the community, the core team, and what we work on and how we're doing. We're getting a lot of background noise. Thanks. Some mute. So who we are. So there's a lot of the Bioconductor core team and extensions of the core team. So this is a link to on the bioconductor.org about core team page. And this is a collection of some of the people that work on the project. Obviously, the project expands a lot of different institutions, and there's a lot of key players in maintaining packages and infrastructures, but this kind of gives a general overview of some of the people involved with the project. How the core team works. In general, we use Trello to keep track of projects and tasks that we need to accomplish for a given time period. We have daily stand-up meetings to review daily blockers and daily issues. And twice a week, we do a more in-depth stand-up where we're going over our Trello stickies to discuss what we've accomplished and what we haven't accomplished, as well as reviewing any open issues that have come up on GitHub or on the support site or on the mailing list to make sure that everything gets proper attention. We go over package reviews and where we are in the standing of doing reviews, and that happens twice a week. And then we break up the Trello boards into generally 3-week sprints. So at the end of 3 weeks, we try to do a presentation of some of our bigger highlights that we've accomplished over that time period. And just to kind of give an overview, so we'll have boards for each 3-week time period so that we can go back and look and trace the most recent boards and have a current board. And then we assign ourselves our tasks and projects to highlight to the team what we're working on and to make sure that no one's, if there's overlap, that we're working together and make sure that everything gets accomplished. In a larger scale picture, the core team not only handles the core bioconductor packages, but there's critical infrastructure for the project that is maintained by the core team, which includes GitHub, both the contributions as well as Git credentials and our Git bioconductor server. We have resources that are on AWS or Amazon Web Services. So we maintain Amazon servicing and cloud systems. There's the build system that I'm sure everyone that has developed a package is aware of, where we're building all of the packages that are submitted to Bioconductor, well, building and checking all of the Bioconductor packages submitted to Bioconductor, both in devel and release versions across the 3 different OS systems for Linux, Windows, and Mac. We have our hub resources that are another extension of an S3 resource. So lots of different infrastructure that is also maintained by the core team. So it not only extends just package maintenance, but all of this sort of infrastructure. And then there's also the community outreach portion, which involves answering support site questions and the mailing list, Slack questions now that we have the Slack communities and discussions. So there's a lot of different things that go into being the core team. So now I'll stop presenting and give the core team an opportunity to go around and just tell a few quick highlights of their key projects of interest and main things that they maintenance and maintain. Myself, I am mainly responsible for the single package builder for new submissions and the new submission process, as well as the experiment hub, annotation hub, and BioC file cache maintenance. And then I also am currently involved with maintaining the Bioconductor website and the support site with help on the support site from Nate Abra from BioStars, who's helping us maintain that. And I help project manage the core team. So with that, I will pass it off. I don't know if we just want to go around. The first one that I see is Marcel. So do you want to take it and then name someone else?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Marcel. I've been with the core team for about 6 years now, and I work on mainly packages like multi-assay experiment, curated TCJ data, TCJ utils, cBioportal data, quite a few. I've also worked on BioC Manager along with Martin, and I do, but that's pretty much it for my side of the project. I see Kayla next.
Hi, I'm Kayla. I've been with the core team for about 3 years now, transitioning more to Martin Morgan's group. And I kind of just help in a lot of different areas, helping back up with Lori on the single package builder, getting data into the hubs. I help with the annotations towards release time and getting those ready for release. And I've been helping with the package review group, getting that out into the community, which has been a lot of fun. And yeah, just a bunch of different little things here and there. So I guess Vince is next, or Jen, whoever.
Well, thanks. We can go in the formal order that you see on the side there. Vince Carey. I'm in the core. I meet with the core every day and think about ways, let's say, to try and keep the workload reasonably balanced, and to have a plan, let's say, for 3.14 that we can all reach consensus on. So I have sort of an advisory role there, and I'm continually humbled by the effort and dedication of the core group that you're meeting here. So I thank them, and I'll pass the mic over to Jennifer Wakety.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Wakety. I'm the newest member of the team. I've only been working with the Bioconductor core team for a few months now through Levi's lab. I primarily help Hervé with the build system, and I'm still learning it since it's incredibly complicated and huge. And I'm excited to participate in Bioconductor. This is my first conference as well. And I'll pass it on to Nitesh.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nitesh. I have been with the Bioconductor core team for a few years now. I work on the Git ecosystem. I work on the Anvil project, which started a few years ago. I also work on cloud and scalability systems for Bioconductor. I work on the Docker images, and I do a part of the release once every 6 months. Personally, I like writing R packages. So yeah, I'll stop there and give it to who's next. I think that's it. Hervé. Hervé is next. Is he on? I don't see him on.
Hervé was having issues with his sound. He was going to try to refresh and hopefully be on. So if the hosts and moderators can keep an eye out for if he rejoins to invite him back up on stage. While we're waiting for him.
I'll just jump in for 1 second. Yeah, it'd be nice to have Hervé back. And I think it's worth just mentioning that Martin Morgan is still a core member, still writing crucial code for the group. I don't know if he's in the session, but he's also responsible, I think, for assembling many of the members of the group, right? So I really want to express my gratitude for him, since he has decided to, the 10 years was enough to be the person managing this business. But he set it up in such a way that it was very straightforward to come on board and to help out. Hervé, are you here? Just unmute.
I am, but I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Yes? And I had a lot of connection problems and couldn't really hear anything since we started. I guess we're going around the table to introduce ourselves. Is that?
Yep.
Is that what we're doing? Yeah, okay. So I'm Hervé Pagès. I'm a core team member. I've been a core team member for many years now, 15 years, I think. And I've been working on various things, but
Oh, that's sad.
So I guess someone can just like fill in the blanks for Hervé. He does a lot. He does an awful lot for the core team.
Invaluable,
yeah.
yes.
That's right, and I would say for 15 years, you know, you're starting out with biostrings, and then all the reference genomes that people in bioconductor can use in a convenient way, various aspects of sequence analysis and so forth. He brought
this
in at an early
responsibility
stage.
is being transferred to Jennifer.
I think you're just commenting
I
on
can't
the
hear you guys, I'm sorry.
right?
I'm going to stop talking because I think that my connection is really too bad. Sorry.
Okay. All right, Hervé. We've been trying to tell your story. Anyway, I see that there's a couple of pieces in the Q&A, and we should discuss this, I guess. R had a major upgrade to 4.0 last year. When do you envision enough changes to BioC to upgrade to 4.0? In other words, we're at 3.14. We're going to go to 3.141, 1415, like LaTeX did, or do we have to go to a 4.0? What do people think?
I think we possibly talked about maybe switching to 4.0 when all of the builders transferred over from their old locations to the new locations, since we were switching the builders over, but I know that was loose talk.
Yeah, I would say we don't have a very strong view of when a 4.0 would come around. Maybe if there was a big transition in underlying platforms, like we started to work, very intensively on cloud, maybe there needs to be a big 4.0 type of push. But right now, I think we're going to do 3.14 and 3.15, but no major concerns about that. And if folks want to discuss that as a community, happy to do that. Next question, or was there another question below that one? Yes, do you still find time to write R packages, Nitesh?
I try. We try to like do most of the things we do in R. So even if they're not like published packages, they become like internal packages or like packages which serve us for the time being. Yeah.
So Kevin Rue, if there's a package you'd like him to write, just let him know what it is. Andrew McDavid, it sounds like Bioconductor uses various methodologies from industrial software engineering, e.g. Agile. Who have been the champions of adopting them, and what was the process of adopting them?
I think the credit here goes to Martin Morgan. And he was the champion of adopting an agile framework for us to work in. And it's been fairly successful. we like the stand-ups to discuss blockers, and we also like the end of sprint show and tell sessions. Yeah, so it helps us move in a structured and at a good pace where everyone's like working on a specific thing.
Don't forget Bioconductor 12K. No one is working on a specific thing. Everyone is working on at least two things and oftentimes many, many more. So Andrew McDavid, I like the question. Yes, we use these methodologies and they help, but there may be other managerial approaches that we would benefit from learning about, and it'd be great to discuss it further. Nice question from Michael Stadler, who heard something that I said about M1 Apple, and I think it's definite. We want to do this. It's just a question of resources, really, and the logic of going there now. You know, community input on this, I think, would be crucial. I use the M1. I don't use Rosetta, and I'm getting along. But with the Python interoperability, I have run into issues that I haven't really been able to spend any time on. So I don't think it's a slam dunk, but we're open to it and we're interested. So thoughts you have would be welcome.
Don't be shy if anyone else has any discussion points or questions for anyone on the team regarding any sort of core infrastructure or core packages or anything else about what we do.
It's been nice for some folks to have vacation. And I think one thing the core does is it's very responsive. So when people have a problem, oftentimes with something like Git, Nitesh, for example, will tend to jump on it right away. What I am going to propose is that many of these things will be relegated to an office hours, so that when there are events that we think are covered in our documentation and people are still running into problems, instead of jumping on them right away, you get into a situation where you come to us and we try to solve it in I don't know, a group fashion, to build knowledge and to reduce the kinds of interruptions that happen to the standard development processes when we do have these bumps in the road for developers. Be very interested to hear your thoughts about that idea. There was another question here. What are your favorite parts about being on the core team?
I'll take a crack at it. I guess it's all the talented people you work with. You get access to, you get exposed to different technologies very easily. You get to work on like a host of different things. So it gives you this breadth of knowledge, which is great. I enjoy that quite a bit.
I would second that. Like the people you get to meet and the collaborations you get to make just from being exposed to so many different areas of the project and working on so many different areas. So there's different areas of expertise and people that you reach out to or people that you work with has been, I think, invaluable.
So another question has come from Davide Riso about remote working. How has remote working succeeded for the core team?
Personally, I feel like we haven't missed too much of a beat switching over into the remote working. I know when we started and Roswell Park went out and we had a release coming up, and I know at least I was so nervous of how smoothly the release would have gone with all of us and all the moving parts and things that we have to keep track of and update. But I think because we are a close-knit small team, and we do have the tools and the Trello board where even if we're not meeting every single day that we can keep track of projects, I feel like we've worked really well.
Yeah, I would say so as well. Like, I feel like a part of the team has been remote for a while now. So that in some way educated us on like how to conduct daily ongoings when the pandemic hit. And remote work has been pretty good, successful, I would say even. Yeah.
I think given that we had daily meetings and weekly meetings to begin with, it really only changed the location of where our video feed was. And instead of having 3 or 4 of us in a conference room remoting with the other people, we all just were on our own screens. So.
Yeah, I would say it has not been a major obstacle for us, but I hope that we can do more in-person things and perhaps lead to, I don't know, stronger, energetic collaborations on specific topics, because we do tend to be siloed, I think, when we're working in isolation on our own. But I don't know. It looks like we've covered the questions in the Q&A. I don't see any that we haven't tried to address. We have a few minutes left. I think formally the session goes to 12:30, but I think we need to give people time to prepare for the next session. So I was thinking of ending at 12:15. We've still got 64 people in the room, so maybe there's a couple more thoughts or questions. Great one from Sheila. Is there one piece of advice you'd like to give to bioconductor users and contributors to make your lives easier? What would it be? Floor is open.
Ask for help on public forums, especially the Slack channel. The general Slack channel is always a good place to ask for questions, because even if, as you've seen, the extraordinarily busy core team isn't able to get to answering your question, 100% someone from the community will come to your rescue.
Yes, I'm split between make sure you read like the errors or documentation that we point you to. We try to be as helpful as possible, especially when we're trying to help or when we program something in. And so please read. We try to make really good documentation. And if something's not clear, we gladly would accept pull requests or opinions and feedback of why it wasn't clear or why something didn't work. But that would be one. And yes, I guess be patient with us, because a lot of times people will email us questions and expect responses back in a day, which we try to be good at. But as you've seen, we all have several projects that we're working on at one time. So be patient with us too. We know that your research is important, but and we will be in touch.
So we have a question in the chat. How can one join the core team?
Well, that's a great question. And the concept of funding additional core members really depends upon the ability of us to get sustained funding from NIH or other institutes. So I think we do have some openings posted. I think there's still one at Buffalo. It's very difficult for us to fill positions. We're competing in Boston, for example, with major companies who are just buying up all the software talent. So if you really want to get involved and you like the way things are going, send us a resume. You know, you can get in touch with us on Slack or whatnot to find out where to put it. And maybe there's an opportunity that could be made available to people who are interested in doing this type of work. But I would say that if you wanted to think about it in detail, if you have a bioconductor package and you've gotten into some of the deeper infrastructure, or you are interested in software ecosystems and thinking about the build system and continuous integration and so forth, those are things where I think we'd like to have more men, more person power. And so, you know, those are the sorts of things that would, I think, accelerate a path towards participation in the core.
Also, I know we brought it up at the TAB meeting, and it will probably come up at the Meet the CAB too, that we are trying to get more of the community involved with forming working groups to tackle specific issues and tasks. And we plan to have a page up of currently active working groups, as well as ones that we thought of that we don't have a lead for. So that's still going to be a work in progress, but coming in the very near future. So once we have that posted and advertised, that would also be a great way to get involved with core type projects and tasks that we have identified as a real need for, and also a place for anyone to suggest ones that we may not have thought of. And I know Levi mentioned it in the question and answers too. We put a new push for community package reviewers, and we've had an amazing response so far, but that's another way that people could get involved. And if anyone on this call has submitted and volunteered to be a package community reviewer, again, we got an amazing response. So it may take us a couple of weeks to get to you, but I will be in contact with you, I promise. But that's another way that you could volunteer to get involved. Because in the past, it's only been the core team doing reviews, all 4 or 5 of us, which has taken a large toll.
So Davide Riso asked the question, do we have interactions with our core team? And the answer is yes. I think it might be fair to say that it has not proven to be essential to the progress of the project that we have involvement with our core, but we do have collegial interactions on certain things. For example, a number of our core builders verify their changes to R by running a full build over all the bioconductor packages. And if it passes with that, then they feel a little more comfortable about the change they're making to R. And sometimes it doesn't happen, or sometimes there's an obstacle to that, and we can work with them to make sure that that goes forward. So the answer there, I hope, is adequate, and I think it's a healthy relationship. It's 12:15. Should we say goodbye? All right. The emojis are appreciated.
There's one last minute question that came through.
From the chat?
On the Q&A.
Uh-huh. Did you want to, does someone want to handle this? If one main dependency of my package is deprecated for any reason on BioC, what is a good practice to keep my package working? That's a good question. And I think we might have different answers. I'm going to hold back on mine.
I guess it depends on how intricate the dependency is laced into your package. I mean, obviously, we require that all packages and dependencies are either on CRAN or Bioconductor. We try to reach out to maintainers. They aren't always responsive. I would also highly recommend emailing the maintainer of the deprecated package to reach out to them, or if you find alternative emails to them, because the core team does not have time to track down rogue maintainers that have forgotten to update emails and things like that. So I would encourage to try to reach out to that package maintainer to let them know that your package depends on it and you would really like to see it stay in Bioconductor. That would be, I guess, one first attempt and approach.
Do we have time for one more question?
I think we have time. Yeah.
Okay.
Still 58 people.
So we have a question. Any quote unquote bad parts about working on the core team?
Oh, I see the same people day in and day out. It's just horrible. I really like working with the core team. I like how the project is international. I like the scope of the project, knowing that we can reach all over the world. I haven't thought about it for a while, but when I first joined the core team and got thrown into it, and I made a little fix on an argument to a function that had been like long outstanding and overdue, but the core team was too busy. So it was kind of my introduction to bioconductor packages and the ecosystem. And I made a fix, and the conference was actually 2 weeks later. And everyone's like, oh, you finally got around to that. And I didn't realize like how much just little changes could affect people's packages and utility. So that was kind of a cool experience, even when I first started to realize the scope of the project.
I can add something. I think one thing we're lacking is maybe more personal interaction, and I think we're working on that. Maybe starting a softball group among the core team would be nice. But speaking from my experience, I mostly work remote since I started, so there's that human component that I think we're missing sometimes. But I really like working with the core team, and I've been with you guys for 6 years, so it's been great.
Yeah, I think we have to be careful about burnout because there's so much to do, and it is very rewarding to do things. And so you wind up, really putting a lot of hours in to make sure things work right with the community. And it's great that it works out, but I'd like to see the effort distributed over a larger number of folks. But it is hard to come up with bad things, Kevin. And if you think of something, like putting our end in the front part of a package. Anyway, I think it's getting a little late, and maybe we should take a break. But I'm really grateful to the core team and to the folks who participated here, and I'm just going to shut up now, and anyone else wants to say their farewells, please do.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I always like interacting with folks and answering questions about the core team. And we have a really good team. So, yeah, thanks to the core team as well, I guess.
And thank you for the community contributions. Those are really great. Thanks.
Yes, it's really great. Thank you to the community for always contributing. We appreciate you guys and the rest of the core team because you guys always have my back. But we really do encourage conversation, so find us on Slack. I know the conference is coming to the end, but in the networking stuff, find us at tables. We really would enjoy talking and getting different perspectives from the community.
Oh yeah, and be sure to come to the closing remarks. I think they're, 8:30 tonight? Everybody should be all fired up. I'm going to reflect on the whole meeting. You don't have to come. Bye, everybody.